All right, welcome to day one of our sculpting program. Let's go ahead and get started. No equipment needed, just your body, maybe a mat. So first we start out in what's called a chair pose. So our feet are pretty close together. We're down at the end of our mat, and we're just gonna squat down and arms up by the head. We're gonna hold this right here for 10 breaths. This first part is pretty easy. Just find yourself on each breath, settling in. Now we bring our hands into what's called a prayer pose. And we're going to take one of our legs back as far as we can as we twist and place our elbow on top of our knee. And now we're going to take 6 deep breaths. Come back to the center and raise your arms over your head. And then we come back to our chair pose without standing up. Let's take 6 deep breaths. Now we're going to come back into our prayer position with our hands. Step our other foot back. And we twist, elbow on the knee. And 6 breaths. Now we're going to reach over our head once again. Nice deep breath. And we're going to step back into our chair pose again. 6 breaths. This is where you might find your legs burning. Just find yourself sinking a little deeper. Bring your hands back down to prayer pose. We step back, place our elbow on our knee, 6 breaths. Now we're going to reach back over our head. Deep breath. Step into our chair pose. 6 breaths. You don't need a leg press. Just need your body. Nice deep breaths. Bring your hands back into that prayer pose. Step back as far as you can again. And twist. Reach over our head once again. Nice deep breath. And last time, back to our chair pose. Sink down into that squat. This is where we find out what we're made of. And let's get 5 more deep breaths. And let yourself just hang down. And now reach over our head. Good. So now we're going to move down into the floor. Before we get started, if you do have to rest, just rest in child's pose, which is just right here. You can catch your breath anytime you need to, or you can rest in your downward dog pose, which is right here. Either one is fine. So we're gonna come up to our downward dog to start. And get a nice stretch, couple deep breaths. Raise your right foot into the air, squeeze the glute, point the toe, and then bring your knee to your nose. Bring it back up, flex the butt, and back down to the nose. And one more time, bring it up, flex the butt, and breathe out. Bring that knee to the nose. We're going to hold it there for about 6 breaths. Now bring that leg back up in the air. We're going to bring our arms down so we're in half a push-up position or chaturanga. And then we're just going to let our body fall and arch up in what's called an upward facing dog. And now we're going to come back up into our downward facing dog. Take our left foot up in the air. Flex the butt, point the toe. Bring the knee to the nose. One more time. Knee to the nose. And let's hold it. 6 breaths. Now bring that leg back up into the air, flex, come down into half of a push-up, chaturanga, up into our upward facing dog. And let's roll back to our downward facing dog once again. Now we're going to take our leg back up in the air. Point that toe, flex the glute, and we're going to bring our knee and our foot to the outside of our hand. And then take it back up. And now you're going to bring your ankle towards the other hand. Take it back up to the outside of the hand. Take it back up to the inside of the hand. Take it back up to the outside of our hand. Take it back up, ankle to that opposite wrist. Take it back up one last time. Lower down to chaturanga. And back to our upward facing dog. And let's roll back down to downward facing dog. Bring our left foot up. Point the toe, flex the glute. Hand to the outside of the wrist. Or foot to the outside of the wrist. Raise up. Foot to the opposite wrist. Raise up, foot to the outside, raise up, foot to the opposite wrist, raise up, foot to the outside, raise up, foot to the opposite wrist, raise up, lower down to chaturanga, arch into our upward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. Lift our right foot up. And now we bring our foot between our hands into a lunge. Sit up and get a nice little stretch right here. Deep breath. Lean your chest over your thigh. Extend your arms over your head. And now just push up with your legs and back down. We're going to get 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Arms up in the air and raise up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come back down to your knee, hands by your hand. Take your foot back up in the air. Point that toe, flex the glute. Down to chaturanga. Back to that upward facing dog. And we come back down to downward facing dog. You lift your left foot and step your foot between your hands. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Deep breath in. Lean your chest to your thigh, hands over the head, and lift for 6. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take the hands over the head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Hands back down, sides of our foot. Bring that leg back up in the air. Lower down to chaturanga. Arch up. Come back on your knees. And just rest in child's pose. Great. So that's day 1, part 1. Take it, use it, and move on to part 2.